all still wear through the storm, through the fight, searching for hope in the dead of night. No more hiding, no more shame. Face the fire, call the name. Lessons learned, stories told. Rise again from the ashes cold. Tuesday Talk, light in the dark, where the broken find their spark. Tales of pain, but we still stand, side by side, hand in hand. Tuesday Talk, light in the dark, where the broken find their spark. Tales of pain, but we still stand, side by side, hand in hand. Shadows whisper, demons call, but we refuse to lose it all. Every fall, every tear, built the strength that brought us here. We are warriors, we are fire. Turn the hurt into desire. Not alone, never lost. One more chance, no matter the cost. Tuesday Talk, light in the dark, where the broken find their spark. Tales of pain, but we still stand, side by side, hand in hand. Voices echo, hearts laid bare.
Hey, good morning. How was that? We finally got the intro to work. I'm pretty happy with that. So hopefully everybody else is too. We got nobody waiting this morning. It's my fault. I didn't put out a blast to say, hey, we're going to be here this morning, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll get some people to come along here shortly. We'll just go from there, right? What an incredible weekend, right? We had Lex Joon, the IHRA, Blue Skies for the Good Guys, Team FASTRAX. My goodness, just an incredible weekend. I got to turn my phone off here. I'm getting blown up already, so we'll have to turn that off and go from there. But let's go with waiting for some people to kick in, and we'll just sit here for a minute, will we? Let me send out another invite real quick. And we'll go from there. I got to meet, a ton of people this weekend. Save 22 got to host over 100 families, 100 veterans. We had conversations with probably 150 people, 150 veterans. I'll bet I had 20, 25 come in with their story of suicidal ideation. Some of them even had a plan. Some of them tried to execute the plan. And we were there for people, you know. That's what we're there for. That's why we're there. We make ourselves available to be there for others who might be struggling, right? And my niche, I'm in motorsports. And, when you get people together that have the same light, the same things get them excited, you know, just things happen. And this barrier kind of falls down, right? It kind of goes away. And you end up talking with people that you never thought you'd have anything in common with, and bam, you know what? You realize that we're all struggling, right? We all have things that drive us crazy, and we don't know how to get through. I had some incredible moments with some incredible people. Got to meet Ralph Shaheen, Speed Sport Network, Boots with his radio show, Matt Miller, Aaron with Blue Skies for the Good Guys, all those things, man. It was just it was a great weekend. It really, really was. Woody with his slop truck, and former Marine, and well, not former Marine, a Marine, and he got down in there and just let us. He fed me. Right, I showed up. I wasn't there 10 minutes, and I get told that hey, Katie's on board. All right, Katie, thank you for being here, honey. I really appreciate that. Got to see your family pictures this weekend. I never thought I'd see big old Hutch, the animal in orange plaid and all the fall colors with my little buddy Bjorn and Etta. It was just it was so cute. It really, really was. Hutch has come a long way in the 10 years that I've known him, and I couldn't be prouder of him and you, and everything that you guys are doing with your family, and how you've come out of the darkness and have really turned your lives around. And I couldn't be prouder of you too, and all that you've done. So much love and respect for you and Brett and the entire family. So thanks for joining us this morning, Katie. Get that sourdough rolling. And I'll take a couple chocolate chip cookies when you get a minute. How's that? So thanks for being here, Katie. So back to this weekend. I pulled in, and it was packed on a Thursday. It was almost chaos. The IHRA is doing a really good job of buying up tracks and repaving them, or setting them up to be a little bit better, more acceptable to more racers and bigger teams with the top fuel dragsters and the funny cars. It from my end, with the IHRA and the track and everybody there, Darana Raceway in West Salem, it was really, I can't think of anything better. There's videos out there of Team FASTRAX and their jump in, starting off everything on Saturday afternoon with the opening ceremonies. We walked, boy, oh boy, a bunch of veterans down through the track, and got them down to the starting line for the national anthem and the parachute team. We hosted a Gold Star family, the family of Lieutenant John Runkle, who was killed in Afghanistan. And in 2011, I think it was May 2011, with 4 or 5 of his buddies, his brothers at that time. And we got to host them and meet them and show them the car. And Lex got to meet him, and Gerda, and the entire team was incredibly open and accepting and very generous with their time. A bunch of little kids getting to see the race cars and walk around. Jamie from BWXT came down with her 2 girls and was really happy. And she's going to get me hooked up with some cookies. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks, Katie. Jamie came down, and Jamie's got her own story, and she shared a little bit of that with me, and I couldn't be prouder of her for coming out, stepping outside of her box and doing something that she might not have ever done before. She's very excited about Safe 22 and wants to get involved more. And that's what we're there for, right? Just to show people that it's okay to come out of your shell. It's okay to be uncomfortable for a few minutes to get comfortable in the long run. I had a couple people come up and share some stories, and Hey, boss, it was awesome to meet last weekend. Aaron, brother, thank you. I so happy you were there, really. What a story. What a commitment to helping veterans Aaron has. Go check his posts out on Facebook and social media. He really did an incredible job being there, making it awesome. The stereo system, the truck, the blue skies for the good guys, hosting the Gold Star family. Again, just a ton of people put a lot of effort in to make it an incredible weekend for so many people out there. You know, Tyler and Ruth with the IHRA. Ruth was a hospitality director. She did a phenomenal job getting all those vets together and providing what she did for them, and all the teams that were involved. You know, it wasn't just Lex Joon and the Nitro Never Quit Army. It was everybody that was involved. You know, Del Worsham was there. Was Robbie Sesko. Robbie Sesko was there with his car, and I hadn't even been in the pits 30 minutes on Thursday, and he already found me. And you know, I love that guy. I really do. He's just a guy that wants to go racing and help his daughter and be around, and said, T-Bone's back, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thanks for being here, guys. Robbie Sesko, again, veteran, walked with us, hung out with us, told a little bit of his story. Just an awesome weekend. I really don't have any other words than awesome, incredible, impactful, influential. Wow. I mean, what else can you say, right? So Aaron's going to be in North Carolina with Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals team. FASTRAX has been asked to jump in for that event. Unfortunately, at this time, due to the injuries, due to the parts failures that we experienced with Lex in round 2, right? Yeah, round 2 of eliminations on Saturday. We believe he broke a rear end. When that rear end broke, the engine started to free run. We call it. There's no load on the engine, and with nitromethane, that's a bad thing. There are pictures out there on Lex's social media of that moment when that nitromethane engine just blew. Exciting to see, bad for the pocketbook, right? So we are partners with Lex Joon. We do provide him some support. Unfortunately, it's not enough to keep them running, right? We had some let's see here. Where are we going? We're going to put this one right down here, and we're going to put this one right down here. Yeah, we don't have the financial resources to keep a top fuel team running for an entire year. You know, one weekend is incredibly expensive for these guys, and Lex and Gerda and the entire team really let us in for a fraction of the cost into their team. In fact, they haven't asked us for any money ever. They are just giving back to the veteran community by sharing their experiences and their excitement with drag racing and allowing us to be part of that. So huge thanks to Lex Joon, Gerda, and the entire Never Quit Nitro Army over there with Lex over there in Indiana. Hopefully he'll find some friends, can help him out, some partners. You know, Anthony Fox Trucking is a big partner of theirs. They're phenomenal people. Daylight Customs Creative is our photographer with them. Crystal does a phenomenal job sharing the social media stuff, not only for Lex, but for us as well. So thank you to Crystal for all those photos and videos that she puts together for us. Yeah, Aaron, that was pretty bad. You know, hey, Aaron, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if any of our viewers want to join in. So I'm going to put it on here. We are able to accept up to 10 people in this invite link. So if anybody's watching that was at the race this weekend and would like to join in and talk about their experience this weekend, I'd love to hear from Aaron. Aaron, so if you can click on that link, buddy, you're going to come into the waiting room. I'll have you off camera. Your mic will be off. Don't worry about that. If you're able to listen or able to join in, I'd really like to hear what your perspective was this weekend of how things went down. I'd love to catch up with you. That goes for anybody that wants to join in on that link. So go ahead and click that link right over. I think it's right over there. No, it might be over there. But click that link in the chat box there on YouTube. You know, we're going live on YouTube and LinkedIn at the current time. Right now, I have applied for an account on Rumble. We'll see how that works out, if we can get the Rumble to work. And we're going to try to grow this thing a little bit, right? See how we can get more people exposed to Save 22 and our diversion therapy programs and see what happens, right? I mean, that's about all we can do, right? Let's just keep showing up, and you can't let life pass you by, guys. Can't let life pass you by. So let's see if anybody wants to join in. Ah, my brother. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. Look at this.
How are you doing today?
Man, thanks for joining in. Really. Thank you. You driving or are you sitting still? I hope you're sitting still.
Yeah, I'm getting offloaded right now. I got Buddy down here sleeping.
There he is. Did you give him his gummy this morning?
No, he's good today. He's good today.
Man, thank you. Really, thank you. Your truck and the things that you've done with Blue Skies for Good Guys and Gals, just by showing up and showing your support and being available, right, to share those stories as a big burly truck driver who struggles as well, right? And letting people know that you care. And I think that's important. So, Aaron, if you would, please tell us how you got involved with Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals. I'd really appreciate that background.
Yeah. So, a few years ago, I started building the truck a little bit, but nothing like it is now. And, I wanted to put it in an off-road expo, and I talked to a lady that was running it, and she said, "Your last name's Hart, so you must know John and David Hart, the founders of Blue Skies and Team FASTRAX." I'm like, "Well, yeah, they're my cousins, and I haven't seen them in like 15 years. So she's like, "Well, I'm going to put you next to the Blue Skies tent, and you guys can have a family reunion." Perfect. It was amazing. And I ended up talking with one of the lead guys with Blue Skies. His name is Sam Deeds. And he just filled my heart with Blue Skies and what they do for the Purple Heart and Gold Star families. And it kind of went from there. I called my cousin David the next day. I said, "I want to do something with my truck to bring awareness to this amazing foundation." And he said, "Do what you want to do. I'm all about it." And, you know, you hold a steering wheel for 11 hours a day, you kind of go down rabbit holes. And that Blue Skies truck was at the end of it. And it's been an amazing journey. Meeting Matt Miller and you and Lex this weekend, and just all the travels with that truck and meeting all the veterans. And, you know, I have been present for probably 99% of every signature that's been on that truck, on the veteran side and on the Gold Star side. And Matt and I kind of looked at it the other day and we're like, you know what? We probably got about 1,500 signatures on that truck right now.
Yeah.
And quickly, we're out of room on the veteran side, which, you know, hey, let's fill that side up to the hilt. But unfortunately, you know, this weekend we did have to add a Gold Star family to the other side. And, you know, that's always tragic when that happens. But, you know, I guess the light at the end of that tunnel is they'll never be forgotten.
Never,
you know,
never. As long as we keep saying their names, they're still around. And that was the family of Lieutenant John Runkle, who was killed by an IED explosion with 4 or 5 of his brothers in the Kandahar province, May of 2011 in Afghanistan. So really a huge thank you to them for coming out and sharing a little bit of their story. They got to be on the radio. They got to be on TV a little bit. What was that experience like for you, meeting that family?
Meeting that family
and talk to you.
It's just, you know, every one of the stories is just absolutely heartbreaking and tragic. And, you know, you just want to sit there and hug them and, you know, give them as much love as possible, because it just seems like nowadays they don't get that. They don't get that respect. They don't get the honor that they should. And that's what I'm about. And that's what the truck's about, is giving them back something, you know, to remember in a good way. And seeing that truck go down the road, you know, I make it a point every day that I get in and out of my truck to read the Gold Star side, because it reminds me of what I'm doing, and I remember each one of those stories. And it was a real honor to meet them. They were a great bunch of people.
Yeah, they were incredibly grateful, very gracious, and loving and caring. They got to spend some time in the Lex Joon pit, walk around your truck, sign your truck. The IHRA was an incredible host. How was the
Yeah.
IHRA for you, and how that weekend
Wow.
went down for you?
I'll tell you what, the hospitality with the IHRA was just top notch. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. You know, Matt told me they're a great bunch of people and told me about you. And you know, when I got there, you came up running to the trucks, and I got him, and they had no problems with it. And meeting Tyler, or yeah, Tyler, right?
Yep,
Is that,
Tyler. Yep,
yep,
yep. Tyler
Tyler,
Shinneberry,
and
senior executive with the IHRA. Yep.
yep, and talking with him for a while, and seems like they really want the truck to be involved with their events. And so we're gonna try to work that out. Things are in motion already, being Tuesday,
That's awesome.
and
That's awesome.
working with the with AD Transport, the company that I drive for, to see if maybe they might help out with some of the transportation of the truck, because you know North Carolina is a 12-hour drive in that big beast, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's not a cheap drive.
No,
But
no,
you
that
know,
would be pretty cool
it's
if you
worth
could get
it.
your company to put it on a flatbed and just haul it out there for you, man. That would be incredible.
Exactly. That's what we're working on right now with my company. And so, yeah, that would be pretty awesome seeing that go down the road on the back of a flatbed behind one of their trucks,
Yeah,
you know. And
yeah, it would.
so,
If I was a little bit more tech savvy, I would be able to pull up some pictures and some videos of the things that we had going on this weekend. You know, you had the I think it was the POW MIA flag and the Honor and Remember flag. Am I correct? Or was it the
the Purple
American
Heart flag.
flag? Purple
It was the
Heart flag.
Purple
That's
Heart
what it
flag and
was.
the Honor and Remember flag. Yep. Yep.
Purple Heart flag and the Honor and Remember flag, and then Team FASTRAX jumped in. The American flag and the Honor and Remember flag landed in this incredibly small zone. Two female jumpers, Ilya and Yulia, and oh my gosh, I can't remember. I'm
I
completely
know. I
sorry,
can't remember I can't remember her
but
name either. I can't remember the pilot, but it was three ladies that did that whole gig.
that whole gig
Other
was
than that,
three ladies,
yep.
15,000 jumps between the two of them. Absolutely incredible. The landing area that they had to land in was one of the smallest ones I've ever seen, in between light poles and hospitality tents and spectators
Right.
and the whole nine yards. The Team Fast Tracks really did a phenomenal job doing that. I'm going to put the link for your Blue Skies for the Good Guys here on the bottom real quick, and we'll
Awesome.
see what we can do.
Very cool.
We're going to add one right now. See, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys can make it to North Carolina. I know that was a
Oh, that was a big
that was a
problem.
big one.
Yeah. You know, if we could get some donations and be able to share some funds with Lex Joon to be able to get back out there, you know, this stuff's not cheap. They do
Right.
it at a reduced rate for us. And the IHRA is always gracious. You know, Daryl and Doug Foley do a phenomenal job supporting the veterans with allowing veterans into the track at any national event for free. Really incredible that they do that. They say that the veterans have paid enough. They don't need to pay to come to our event. So hopefully we can get down into Dunn, North Carolina at Glot Raceway, I believe it's called.
Yep.
And we do have a scheduled Save 22 event there. Albert should be there with about 4 or 5 of our other people from the Carolinas. Should be a good time if we're able to get down there. Even if Lex doesn't make it, I'd like to see us still be there just to be on site, right? The
Right.
IHRA has done a phenomenal job promoting Save 22, and I think we owe it to them to at least be there and be available. Yeah. So what's on your agenda for the next month or so? You know, there's no IHRA events. Are you going to be available? Are you going to be out at anything
I'm gonna
else in
be
the next 30 days?
Nope, I am just gonna be out here trucking. That's about it.
Out, out there trucking, feeding gummies to
Yep.
Buddy. Yeah.
Right. um, Tyler's gonna let me know if there's any other events the rest of the year after this one in North Carolina. You know, if they want me at, then you know I'll make it a point to be there for it. So
Awesome. Awesome.
if there's any,
Well,
I don't know what the
Aaron,
schedule is.
Yeah, I don't know what their schedule is either, but they have a team, and I can't even tell you how many jumpers they have. I want to say it's close to 20, 25, and they travel all over the world doing these phenomenal jumps for major events, smaller events, the whole 9 yards. And they're just a really great group of guys. And I really hope the IHRA and Team FASTRAX team up for the entire 2026 season, and we can get the Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals truck out there too for a lot of those events. From my understanding, there's 10 or 12 IHRA outlaw events next year, with 3 of them being in Ohio and Michigan, possibly 4 or 5. So half of them being in Ohio and Michigan. That would be really incredible because you're up here in Ohio and Michigan area. Matt
Right.
is out of New York. Team FASTRAX is stationed out of Middleton, Ohio, down by Cincinnati, I believe it is. So
Yep.
it would be a really phenomenal opportunity for everybody to just showcase what we all do and just make ourselves available. So, Aaron, I'm going to let you hop off of here. I thank you for coming in and listening to us for a few minutes, man.
Well, thanks for
Sharing
having
your
me.
time. No, man. Anything you'd like to say to everybody out there listening on the interwebs?
Hey, all I want to say is God bless you guys. Keep your heads up. And like he always says, if you have some problems, let's talk.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Aaron, thank you, my friend. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. It was
Keep
nice seeing
listening.
you.
Keep
All right,
listening,
buddy.
brother. See ya. That's Aaron with Blue Skies for the Good Guys. He drives that big old truck, and you know what? If anybody wants to hang around while I go blank screen for a minute, we'll see if we can't get some info out here on Blue Skies for the Good Guys. So here is the Blue Skies for the Good Guys Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals website, right? They have participants from all over the country. How they do it at the core of Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals is Team FASTRAX, professional parachute demonstration team composed of many veterans. The team focuses on adventurous activities as the backdrop to facilitate enriching, healing environment for our Purple Heart warriors and Gold Star families. They have included the veteran in there as well. You don't have to be a Purple Heart or Gold Star recipient family to participate in these things. So more about Team FASTRAX. They started in 2002 and thousands of exhibition skydives for every entertainment venue imaginable. They have performed as far away as Doha, Qatar, been there, done that, Moscow, Russia, and Normandy, France. The team is approved to jump into highly restricted airspace and is the only team to have performed over Ground Zero on the 9/11 anniversary in New York City, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and the Arizona Memorial in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. They have done balloon festivals, air shows, NASCAR races, Indy racing cars, Formula One, the NFL, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, all kinds of things these guys have performed for. So if you're looking for an exciting opening to your event, contact Team FASTRAX and Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals. They'll be happy to look into you and be available to you should things work out schedule-wise. So thank you for that. One big thank you to Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Team FASTRAX. Anybody else want to join on here in the YouTube stream over here? We'll see what's happening. T-Bone, it's been a week, my brother. How you doing? What's happening with you? I'm sure some people would like to hear how your week has been, considering that you were gracious enough to join us last weekend and talk a little bit about your struggles and your experiences. So give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're doing okay. As far as me for this weekend, I have a couple events. This Friday, I'm going to be at the Maps Air Museum in Greene, Ohio for a one-day, it's actually a 2-day event. It's a Veterans Resource Fair, but I have another event on Saturday, so I can only be there on Friday. So we're going to be at the Maps Air Museum this Friday for a one-day deal. My understanding is there might be a breakout session where people will get to have the opportunity to ask questions. And I'm going to make myself available for that. Safe 22 will make themselves available for that. T-Bone says he's good. Thanks. That's good, man. I'm glad to hear it. You know, the number's always open, my friend. Always open. Keep trucking. Keep moving ahead. Keep going forward. And get a sip of my Saturday Java company coffee. All right. So this weekend, we also had a new partner come on board for this weekend, and we want to talk about the Parkway Auto Group down in Dover. They were gracious enough to provide us with sponsorship to feed the entire team this weekend. So thank you to Parkway Auto Group down there in Dover, Ohio. And if you're in need of a new Ford, Lincoln, so they got Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, I think. They've got all kinds of stuff down there. Go see Cam the Car Man down there. Cam Gilbert, incredible salesman, longtime friend of mine, great friend of the show, family friend. He's been around there. Pretty new down there, but he is a great salesman. He will give you the greatest deal, and he isn't going to lie to you, right? He's going to tell you the truth. We're working on some stuff with Parkway for the future and 2026. So keep looking out for that, and hopefully we can make something happen. So thank you again to them for their donation this weekend. They were able to provide two meals to over 20 veterans and the team each time they served them. So a total of about 50 meals were served through their donation. So big thanks to Parkway Auto Group for that. Wow. Well, what else we got going on this weekend? Oh, Saturday, I'm doing a Jeep show. This is going to be a first for me. We are going to be at Deer Tick's Corn Maze in, I think it's Talmadge, Ohio. I'd have to look it up again, but Deer Tick's Corn Maze. We're going to be there for a show from about 11 or 12 till about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Really excited to go hang out with these Jeep guys. These guys put a lot of passion, a lot of time, a lot of money into their Jeeps, and they're very proud of them. And I can't wait to come see some of the stuff that they have going on. Our friend Joe Muncie, thank you to Joe for inviting us. His Jeep called the Nugget is a gold Jeep, and he has spent a lot of time and money on his Jeep. He's been featured in a couple articles, a couple magazines, a couple digital publications. Really thank you to him. We got George back here in the background trying to grab himself a little drink, though. Everybody say hi to George. That's my orange cat. All right. So this weekend, Deer Ticks, look us up. We'll be out there this weekend from about noon to 4 or 5. Going to be a good little calm little event, food, drink, music, entertainment, Jeeps. If you're a Jeep fan, come on out. I know my buddy Eric's got one out there in Youngstown. Love to see him come down with his stuff. So, hey, swing on by Deer Ticks in Talmadge, Ohio, I believe. You know what? I'm going to look that up real quick. I was a little ill prepared this morning for some of the stuff that happens, but that's what happens when you do live, right? That's what happens. So where's my man Pete Dohar? I don't think Pete can come on here just yet. Whiskey Pete came out and joined us. Mike Wine came out and joined us. He's one of my good friends from the Air Base. He's actually a drag racer. He drives a 69 Super B. He came out and spent the day with us this weekend as well in wait a minute, Quaker City Raceway, Salem, Ohio, not confused with West Salem, Ohio. He's going to be running. I may come out there on Sunday, spend a few hours with him and be out there as well. Not a Safe 22, but just to show support for my buddy Mike, who came out this weekend and showed support for us and myself. So big thanks to Mike for being there this weekend. You know, what else can we talk about? How about we talk about me for a minute and what this weekend did for me and my mental health? Many of you know, many of you don't know. I don't know how to broach that subject, but we'll just keep going with it. You know, I had a time in my life about 9-10 years ago where I was extremely focused on the negatives, the things that were happening to me after I got out, my inability to comprehend stuff. And think like a civilian. And I don't think that that's ever going to happen, right? I don't know that any of us veterans are ever going to think like a civilian. We have been trained in life and death decision making for years. Some of us spent, the majority of our adult lives, 20 plus years, doing these life and death decisions. And when you stop that, you struggle. We had a couple people come by this weekend, and immediately with their handshake and say, "Thank you for being here," they got emotional. And what that leads to is an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to share what's bugging you, share what's eating at you, share what you're struggling with somebody that quite possibly understands more than anybody you've ever talked to before. I talk about it quite a lot, that you have to share those things with the right people. If you're sharing them with the wrong people, you're not going to get good advice. You're probably going to get criticism or a, "Hey, suck it up, let's move on," right? They haven't been in those situations. They don't know what that is like. So you gotta talk to the right people. So when I'll share one story with you real quick. It won't be real quick. You guys know I blow V8 like crazy. But I had a man come up to me about my age, maybe a little bit older, and he told me that his father was an 81-year-old World War II veteran. And he had committed suicide at 81 years old. He just couldn't do it anymore. And this man struggled with that. He'd never talked about anything with anybody about how that made him feel. And he shared that he was angry and mad and upset at his dad for doing that. And where that conversation led was a little understanding from the son about where the father may have been in that moment, where his mental thought process might have been. And we looked at some things and we talked about some stuff that he had never talked about in those 23 years. We talked about choices. We talked about understanding and perspective. We talked about breaking that cycle, right? Breaking that cycle of thinking, understanding that my generation, our generation, right? The Gen Xers, we were raised by baby boomers. Some of them may have been immigrants. My grandfather was an immigrant, right? So really hard life to make that happen. And they worked and they didn't say anything about it. It was hard, and they just kept their mouths shut and they kept their head down and they kept moving forward. And my grandfather came over at age 6, didn't speak a lick of English, with 5 brothers and sisters and his mother. They were raised in a small house in Canton, Ohio. My grandfather became a mechanic. He worked at a steel mill. He did everything that he could to make things better for his family. He raised 7 kids. One of them died very, very young. He had 6 kids. I had 5 uncles and aunts. Everyone, big Catholic family, right? Everyone had 3 kids or more, except my family. We only had 2. But they did it, right? And his pride and joy were his Cadillacs and his pickups. And he would wrench and wrench and wrench and sell cars and hold on to Cadillacs. And he never quit. He never quit. He had multiple heart attacks, multiple strokes. He lost full use of his right side. And this man would go for walks almost daily. And he'd drive up to, yeah, right, fathers are supposed to be invincible. They're our first heroes, right? They're the ones that teach us, that guide us, that show us everything is possible, we hope, right? And they're supposed to be our landing pad. And our Randy Travis, Walked on Water, bro, that's a great song. Great song. Great story in that song as well. And my grandfather would walk up at Perry High School in Edison Pifer, that little tri-school area right up there around the field, down the railroad tracks. And he would do it one step at a time. No walker, no cane. He refused it. And there were times when grandma would call and say, "Hey, can you go find grandpa?" And I would drive up there, or ride my bike through the woods and get up to go see Grandpa on there, he'd be just one step at a time to prove that he could still do it. And I remember him one time smiling at me, and he said, Grandma send you here? Yeah, Grandpa. She just wanted to make sure you were okay. So I'd walk with him back to the truck, and then he'd drive the truck home, and I'd follow him home, and it'd just be smiles, right? But he never quit. He never quit. And I think that's where I got my stuff from, right? And that generation just accepted it all and just kept going, right? And I think at some point, with the advent of the internet and social medias and information being so readily available, that I think we forgot that part, right? We started focusing on negatives. We started focusing on negative emotions, and I never knew how to deal with those emotions. I didn't know the words to use on what I was feeling. All I wanted to do was explode. I wanted to fight the world, whether that be physical or mental fighting, arguments, disagreements, walk away, right? Quitting, whatever, just because you don't understand it. And when I was able to learn how to express my emotions and feelings, I think I got better, and it's still a work in progress. But we talk about these older generations, and they never had that opportunity. They didn't know how to learn it, right? They didn't trust to change themselves or to be able to express those things. There were words that my father never said. I'm proud of you and I love you. Never came out of his mouth, right? He just couldn't bring himself to do it. He would break down into tears. And I get that, right? I get that, because you have to break away from what's happening to yourself to be able to express yourself, right? That's the way I look at it. And some of those guys just couldn't do it. And I think when this man's father at 81 years old realized, or thought he realized, that he didn't want his son to have to take care of him. He didn't want anybody to take care of him, and he was unable to do it for himself. He only knew one way out. And, I talked with my dad a few times before he lost the ability to have, really good conversations. He had said a few times, I don't like this. He couldn't get around well. The legs didn't work. He felt like he was going to fall down a lot. Dizzy, loss of balance. He fell multiple times. And he didn't know how to express his frustrations with it or how to get better. And I think that may be what happens to that generation, at least. That happens to everyone, right? They don't know how to express what's going on with themselves, and how to take advice and to leave things behind them and try to be a little bit better. And that's it. You think it's so overwhelming, the things that you have going wrong, right? We're not normal. Well, no shit, we're not normal, dude. We're one of 3% of the country that ever served, and we're even less a percentage of that have been in the combat, and even less a percentage of that who have been injured, who receive a Purple Heart or are killed in action. So we're a very unique subset of a very unique subset, right? So there's going to be struggles. There's going to be challenges. I talked with somebody this weekend about when we got out, they didn't teach us how to be a father. They didn't teach us how to be a husband, right? They taught us all these things. They taught us crisis management. They taught us planning. They taught us execution. They taught us how to train. They taught us how to take care of ourselves, to be in the best physical and mental shape that we could at the time. And I think many of us forget that, right? We forget that we have to have a pattern at home. We have to have a routine of self-care, whether that be wake up, shit, shower, shave, brush the teeth, have your coffee, stretch, do your workout, 30 minutes of walking, whatever you're going to do. We forget that, right? We forget that we have to go to the gym to feel better. We forget that we have to participate in social activities to keep that mindset clean. And we forget that. And some of us take many, many years to realize that we're missing something and what we're missing and how to get back into it. So what Save 22 does is it provided me an opportunity to get back into something that I really, really enjoyed, and that was auto racing. It didn't have to be what I was familiar with. I had never been to an Indy car race or an Indy style race. I'd never been around an Indy style car. And I fought it for many, many weeks with Albert. We've told this story numerous times until finally I caved in and I said, I'll go. And driving into Mid Ohio, when I saw the entry gates and I got through and I got my wristband and I was able to say I was part of a team or a guest of a team, all that anxiety, all that what if, all that fear of the unknown slipped away. I was right where I needed to be. I was talking, I was engaged, I was energetic, I was learning as much as I could about the cars. I was talking to people, drivers, team owners, mechanics. Got to speak with Scott Goodyear, the president of the league, a former IndyCar driver. And then, that experience led me down to VIR, where I said, yes, I'll come and I'll help wrench on the cars. And that introduced me to Sonia, and Sonia convinced me that there was more for me, right? To not give up and to try something different. And that was the podcast when we did the Johnny Mo Media Straight Talk podcast for a couple years, and that led to more motorsports involvement. That led to meeting more veterans with the same feelings and experiences that I had. We got to talk with so many. I think I did 60 some episodes, and I got to talk to so many people and understand their perspectives and compare them to mine and what they did and try what they did and see if it worked for me. That's what Save 22 did for me. And I think he can do the same thing for you if you're willing to get out of your own head and go try something, right? Just go try something a little out of your wheelhouse and give it a shot. None of us jumped into a car and knew how to drive right away, right? None of us. You might say that you did, but I guarantee you that started at a very young age where you were interested in the car and you wanted your freedom with the car. So you had to learn things about the car and the rules of driving, the rules of the road, and how to navigate that. Absolutely navigate the roads, direction, starting, stopping, merging, yielding. What the hell does yield mean? There's still people out there that don't know what yield means, right? But we had to learn. And I think it's the same when it comes to being out of the military. You have to learn how to be out of the military. How do I apply what I learned in service now? What do I have to do? And what I've learned is I have to keep a clean house. I have to keep order. I don't do well with chaos. And that includes my laundry laying all over the bedroom, my bed not being made, my bathroom being dirty, my office area here not being in a orderly manner, right? Paperwork and things thrown everywhere, business cards strewn. You have to keep yourself in your routine. What makes your brain work in the most efficient way possible? And for me, it was nutrition, what I was eating, when I was eating, how I was eating, how much did I sleep, when did I sleep, and taking care of myself, right? I let my beard go for so long. I'd go days without a shower. and just sitting here on the couch watching TV or movies or playing Xbox. I would just let myself go. I shot up to 278 pounds within the first probably 18 months, 2 years of being out. I had no motivation, no drive, no get up off the couch. I was in a job where I worked 4 10s, and I'd get home at 5 o'clock or so and not know what to do for the rest of the day. I was stuck just doing the routine, right? It was, the kids had sports. I think, let's see, how old would Tiffany have been back then? Tiffany was 20 or so when I retired, I think. So Tiffany was out of school. She was in her second year of college. She wasn't really in college. She was just partying with the softball team up there. So shout out to Kent State softball, and Jeff Schaefer up there as the coach. So kudos to you guys. But Tiffany was hanging out with them, and Julia would have been like a friend in high school. So she was a cheerleader, and Jeffrey would have been like 6th or 7th grade. And, he had stuff going on with band and I think basketball a little bit. And I didn't know how to navigate that kind of stuff, right? What was my purpose? What was my drive? I didn't know in my head. I was present, I was there, but I wasn't mindful of where I was. I was still focused on the hypersensitivity, the hypervigilance, this guy's doing that, so I need to watch him. This guy's doing that, and I got to watch him. Just a bad place to be mentally. I missed a lot of the games because I was focused on other things. I might have been there physically, but mentally I wasn't there. I'm there now, right? I'm present in what is going on. And that was a learned behavior, right? You have to unlearn some things and focus more on others. You can still keep that sensitivity. You can keep that vigilance, that awareness, but you don't have to be hyper focused on it, right? We can still sit with our back to the wall and monitor the exits and see who comes in and goes out. But when you do that, you're taking away from the person sitting right across from you. You're taking away from their experience as well. I talked about this with some people this weekend. My wife didn't marry at the time I was a staff sergeant, tech sergeant, I think, staff sergeant. She didn't marry Staff Sergeant John Moser. She married John Moser. She married the guy that provided her safety and security, made her laugh, took care of her daughter, provided for her, gave her a sanctuary to feel safe and comfortable in. That's what she married. And she didn't marry the war fighter. She didn't marry the flight engineer, right? She didn't marry a first sergeant, although I tend to act like that quite a bit. That's not what she married. So I had to understand where my role is now inside of my own home when I got out. And that role was provider, protector. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? That's the man part of it. That's the husband. That's the father. That's what you're supposed to do. And it takes a while to unlearn it. I talked with I think it was T-Bone last week when he talked about having 6 weeks in between missions. And the first 2 weeks, you're just unwinding. And the next 2 weeks, you're there, you're present. But the following 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, you're preparing for that next trip, right? And when we get out, we don't have that next trip. We don't have that next war zone opportunity. We don't have that next TDY. We don't have that next mission to plan for. So we have to train our brains to make the mission here at home. And in order for me to do that, I had to let go of a lot of things. Number one, Trisha doesn't think like me, right? My kids do not think like me. And no matter how much effort I put into making them understand that or trying to teach them how I think, they're never going to get it. That's just not who they are. So you have to change your wording, right? You can't be frustrated and angry and agitated at things. You have to take them as they come and ask yourself, is this truly life or death? Is this really a thing that that I have to put all of my effort in, or is it just something I can let go? Right? Does it need my attention? It doesn't need my attention. Don't focus on it. Right? The coffee pot story. All right. Yeah, we'll do the coffee pot story. Trisha's going to like this one. And thank you, Trisha, for listening. I know you're at work, so thanks for listening, honey. I love you. I know my mom's listening too. So hi, Mom. So we'll talk about this coffee pot story real quick, and it might give you an insight as to what might be going on in your own life and how things affect and interact with others that you're affiliated with. The coffee pot story. So one evening, I think it was a Friday or Saturday night, Trisha had said she wanted to move the coffee pot from this side of the corner to this side of the corner. Literally, that's all it was. And I didn't like it because it wasn't in line with where I kept the coffee. The coffee pot would be here, and above in that cupboard is the coffee beans, the grinder, the sugar. All my coffee stuff is right above that coffee pot, and it just worked for me. So the coffee pot was below it. Everything set right here, the coffee mugs and all that. And she wanted to move it over here because she didn't like it right there. And when I got up the next morning, it was moved, and I flipped over a coffee pot and where the coffee pot sat on the counter. I wigged out. And if she's listening, I hope she remembers what she said. I don't specifically remember the words, but it was something to the effect of, if you're just going to wake up and be an asshole today, go ahead and leave. And I threw my shit down and I hopped on that bike. And I was so frustrated and angry and upset that she moved a coffee pot that I rode around for a while on that bike, fast as could be, reckless, thinking, you know what, all I got to do is make it look like an accident and this will all be over. I can end all that pain and frustration and anger I have built up inside myself. And I was riding up Route 800, and two leathernecks went riding by on their bikes, and saw their vests, their patches on their back. And I made a decision to turn around and go back where they were. So I went back to that bar that they were at, and it's Vaughn's. It's right here, a local one that, if you've heard my story, that Vaughn's where I pulled in, and I was going to end my life right there in their parking lot. I went back to that bar, and I saw those two leathernecks, and within a minute and a half of being in there, a father walked up to me and he said, "Hey, aren't you Flyboy?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You're with that Safe 22 group, right?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I had an incident with my son last night. I'd like to talk to you about it." And immediately all my bullshit went away, and I was there to help that man with his son. And he talked about how his son would get really, really drunk. And he talked about, I think it was Syria at the time, how he'd had an incident in Syria where his actions had caused the death of a woman and children. And I don't know what that feels like, right? But I know what the helplessness feels like. I know what the feeling alone, that nobody's going to understand, that I did something so horrible that I'll never recover from this and nobody's ever going to love me again. And those are the farthest things from the truth. They're not true. They are things that happened in the past, that we had to do to survive, and we did them. They were not a direct result of us. They were the situation. They were what we were put into, what we asked for, and we did it very, very well. War is a horrible thing, horrible, but it is part of life, and we chose that life. So we have to accept those things. I've never seen that father again. I haven't talked to the son again. But the moral or the lesson in that story is you got to put your own shit aside, right? It was just a fucking coffee pot. It really was. It had no bearing on anything at all, right? It wasn't going to change my ability to live or my ability to get coffee in the morning, but it set me off. And that's what PTSD is, right? I think that's what anxiety is. That's what depression is. That's where, you know, the littlest of things sets you off. And if that's where you're at, I'll challenge you, talk to somebody about it, right? When those types of things happen, when you lose your cool for no other reason than somebody moved the coffee pot, or somebody didn't put the dishes away, or, you know, the laundry still folded on the couch for the third day and you're throwing laundry everywhere because somebody else didn't pick it up. Hey man, why don't you pick it up? Why don't you pick it up and go put it away? Right? You know it needs to be done. Go do it. Stop holding other people accountable the same way you hold yourself accountable, because they're not going to do it. You're the one that's being held accountable. So hold yourself accountable. I know some of you out there have had those experiences, right? I know for a fact because I've talked to some of you about it. So if you can, reach out, talk to somebody. And if you can't, you don't think you have anybody there that can reach out, you got us right here. Safe22.vet. You got me right here at Tuesday Talk. If you want to get involved in motorsports, call motorsports, email motorsports@safe22.vet, and we'll take you out, right? Just get out of your shell, right? I'll guarantee you, while you think you're safe in your house, your brain is what's causing you to feel unsafe. It is telling you things that are not true for the environment that you are in. We're not in combat. We're not in the Middle East, right? We're not back in Vietnam. We're not over in Panama. We're not in Grenada, right? We are here in the United States of America, and we are free. And while you can find something wrong or something to bug you or get on your nerves or under your skin or irritate you or aggravate you everywhere you look, how about you start looking for the positives? How about we start looking for the fact that you're alive? Let's be grateful that you're able to take another breath today. You know, in Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a saying to have an attitude of gratitude. Be grateful for the things that happen. Be grateful for being here. Be grateful for the bad things because they taught you a lesson. Acceptance is another part, right? Just accept where you're at. This is where I'm at, and I'm here because of the choices that I've made throughout my entire life. There are things happening now that I made a decision to do. I made a choice to do 30 plus years ago. Joining the military. I'm retiring from the military, signing up with the FAA and retiring as a government servant, making investments, saving money, that are all paying off now. Things that I decided to do 30 plus years ago are paying off now. So what are you going to do today to affect you for the rest of your life? Well, I don't know. I don't know what decision I made today that's going to affect me the rest of my life, but I know what's going to affect me today. And that is an attitude of gratitude and acceptance. So let's work on those, right? Let's just work on an attitude of gratitude instead of getting frustrated and upset with somebody's opinion or how somebody's talking to you. I'll challenge you, smile when you talk to them and say, thanks for your opinion, and walk away. You're done. I appreciate your concern. I'm going to keep doing things my way. Thank you. Right? That's it. Keep your ears open. Keep your mouth shut. Listen to the world. And do what you can. I feel like I'm babbling a little bit here. I don't know how to really end that. We have been on for over an hour. I don't like to go too much longer than an hour without any guests. But I'll say thank you to the 12 or so people that joined us up today. Hit us up right here, Tuesday Talk, safe22.vet. Bitcoin. Yeah, I didn't do so well with Bitcoin and Doge and all those cyber currencies, man. I kind of lost my butt on those. I didn't do real well, but I'm still dabbling a little bit in those, not much, but I don't know where it's going to go with this new administration and how the cyber currencies are going to work, the digital currencies. I think down the road, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, they're going to be phenomenal. As of right now, they're not performing as I would hope, but it is what it is, right? So just keep making decisions, right? Keep moving forward. Take care of yourself. Go to the gym. Eat right. Don't slouch in your couch and stay there all day. Don't put this thing down. Put this thing down, right? Put it down. Get off Facebook. Get off TikTok. Get off those things. And I'm not saying they're not good tools, but they can drive you into an algorithm loop of depression. He's having a blast. Yeah, me too, buddy. I turned that up the wrong way. Anyway, that's my beautiful wife. Where were we? I don't know. The challenges of being alive. Yeah, Friday, Maps Air Museum. We're going to be there, North Canton, Ohio, Green, Ohio. Check us out, Big Veterans Resource Fair up there. And then Saturday at Deer Ticks with the Jeeps. We'll be there all day. And then Sunday, I'm going to be out at Quaker City, Salem, Ohio, with Mike Wine and his 69 Super B. So we'll see how that goes. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for being on today. I know it wasn't a great show, but it was our show. We're here. I got to talk about some things that affected me over the weekend. Hopefully it resonated with you and you're able to go on with your day with an attitude of gratitude and acceptance. So that's what I'll challenge you today. Have an attitude of gratitude and accept the things that happen and work with them, right? Take what you get and go. I love every single one of you. I wish I could give you a hug right here, right now, and let you know everything's going to be okay. Yeah. Have a good day, guys. We'll talk at you all later.